So here we are with Leanne Mummy, and Leanne is here to talk to us today about some really cool stuff. And this might be new to a lot of you. This is not a commonly, at least where I come from, and is not a common thing that comes up, and it's going to be. And I'm going to explain why, because we all need to know what we're about to talk about today. So welcome, Leanne, to the program. Welcome to the Badass Reset Club.
Thank you, Heather.
I'm
Excited to be
so
here.
I'm so glad you're here because, when I got to meet you recently, I decided you're definitely part of the badassery that's out there. And, you are a woman who is in my age bracket and doing cool stuff. So I'm really happy to have you here and help my listeners and my ladies understand what it is that we're about to talk about. So let's dive in all things symmetry. And I got to tell you,
Awesome.
I'm sitting here right now. You can't see this, listeners, but I am sitting here in my Nada chair.
I love it. Love it.
So I'm feeling really good as I sit here, and do not leave this program right now, but just make a mental note to go look up what a Nada chair is. And we'll tell you how you can get one too. So Leanne's here today to talk about Symmetry, her experience with Symmetry. I've got a couple questions for her, but first of all, people are probably like, what is she saying? What is she saying? She's saying symmetry. Yes, I'm talking about symmetry, alignment. And Leanne, what is it that you can tell us, like the overview of what symmetry is?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, symmetry is posture alignment, but in a whole different way. So when we talk about symmetry, we're talking about the structure of your body, your holding muscles, your alignment. So it is symmetry is where we measure. We measure 20 bony landmarks of the body standing up upon gravity. And it's a question of how well do you hold your frame? Just like a building that you walk into, if you're floor is not even, and the walls aren't going to be either. Body works the same way. And that because we measure and quantify with those bony landmark measurements that we take, those measurements are thrown into a software having a value of each measurement we put in, generates the right specific sequence of exercises in the right order with lots of other factors. And it's your job to go home and do it every single day, twice a day, with an app that does hold you accountable. So when we talk symmetry, it is again, how well are you holding your frame upon gravity, but it's to fix the frame of your body to hold it in the right way before you go move. We're all used to moving. We are moving at the gym, we are moving all day long, or we're sitting at our jobs, whatever we do, but we need to get ourselves into alignment in the right order to be able to move properly without injury.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes for everybody. And when you're talking about movement, like I see it, I'm sure you see it as well. People move sometimes funky.
We do.
We've
We
got some
do.
funky movement patterns
You do.
that don't help, right? Like if you're already out of alignment and you continue that, you're just asking for some trouble. But symmetry is for everybody.
Every single person.
Doesn't matter how old you are. It does not matter if you are a woman or a man, if you're an athlete, if you're a professional couch sitter.
Right.
Everybody can benefit from it.
Even
Uh,
children.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So, I guess, in what I work with in my demographic, focusing on midlife women and making sure that they feel strong and good in their bodies, especially as we age. I think it's so important to understand what's going on, and have a really good grasp on where can you make improvements? Where do we need to start so that we can continue to get stronger and let these beautiful bodies grow gracefully. But, like for midlife women, we're experiencing these changes in posture due to hormonal shifts, due to muscular changes. Is there something about symmetry that would help to address those imbalances? Like as we start to see things shift, in midlife, what is it that we look for in symmetry in doing these exercises that's going to be helpful? You
Right.
know,
Yeah. So, I mean, in our age group, of course, we're doing all the research on, premenopausal and menopausal and how your joints are affected and how you're feeling, and hormones being a big topic. And what is it? Is it my body that's out of alignment that's hurting? Is it the hormones that are changing? Well, how is it affecting my entire body? Which is research I've been doing, right? Is where do we go? What do we do? There's so much information out there, what direction to go. But if you're not holding your frame in the right way to then move, and you're not, you're talking about gait pattern and the way you move, the way say my hip hurts. Is it menopausal? Is it joints? Is it all the things that we're talking about now? If you're not holding yourself right upon gravity and you're not aligned, then you don't know. Is it that? Is it all the hormone, everything that's, like I'm saying, that's playing into it?
Yeah,
So you need to start from the bottom up with the frame to keep into alignment. So you have those answers as to, okay, maybe it's not the frame of my body because I'm aligned and I'm feeling good. Maybe it's something else. And then you get into eventually the whole osteoporosis concerns, right? Are we putting weights in our hand, which are really important to, fend off osteoporosis? But it all goes into play with how well you're holding yourself up first and foremost to then rule out other things that are going on as we're aging.
absolutely. I think it was eye-opening for me as I came into working with you guys, going through this program,
Yeah.
that it does need to be the foundation. It needs to be the very bottom layer and where you start. This one's always tricky for me. The musculoskeletal symptoms of menopause,
Right.
skeletal symptoms of
Yes.
menopause. Like it is hard to know. Women often are complaining of shoulder issues, of knee issues, of hip issues. We don't know if the root cause is hormonal, if it's, whatever it is, but I think that you do need to start at the bottom and you need
Yep.
to make sure that everything's sound before you are adding on to that. We can't expect women to go in and start picking up weights and deadlifting and doing things if they've
No.
got imbalance.
Right. Because then
So
it'll hurt more, and then you'll have to peel away more layers to figure out what's really going on. So align.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I'm so fortunate to have found this. I can't wait to share it with more people because I do think that this is, for some women, they come in and they want to have a heavy hitting program. They want like right out of the gates to be flying, and that's just not sound or safe or smart.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. And I'm thinking too about, like especially women I know, they're at the height of their careers, they're sitting a lot during the day at their
Yes.
desks, and
Yes.
then they're leaving to care for older parents, or they still have kids that they're moving in ways that are repetitive strain patterns.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking about like, what are the key muscle groups that are being affected? Like, how can we help those imbalances for the people who are sitting all day, besides putting a Nada chair on them and getting them in the right posture?
Right. Right.
Like, what do you think we could do to address this demographic that's in those repetitive patterns over and over?
Right. Change what you're doing. Change your habits during the day. Get up every half an hour. Get a drink of water. Um, put a block or a strap right at your knees and get those adductors and abductors going, because that's what shuts off when you're sitting.
Mhm.
But really, they people talk about, I'm working all day, sitting versus a standing desk. What should I do? So there are so many little things you can do. Are you hydrating? Are you drinking enough water? So that is the hard part, is we get stuck in a rut with all the things we have to do, and then
Yep.
work, like you're saying, work on top of it. So I would give you the add other things to your diet. Add some, making sure you have enough magnesium and sodium right in your water, but really changing the paradigm during the day of what you're doing. So do little things to make the changes, which is probably all you can do when you're sitting all day at your job and then have to go run a million miles an hour after work, taking care of, like you said, parents, kids, um, all the things that we do, which is so many things as a woman. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
The
I
little
know.
hurricanes we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Here's a question for you. Forever we were told that we need to develop more core strength.
right.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about maybe some of the education in and around, maybe it's not just the core strength we need to be looking at for the people
Right.
who are, I'm talking about the people who have excessive, lumbar, low back issues and who
Right.
have injuries keep popping up. Maybe it's not so much how many times a day are you planking?
Right. Well, I would ask the question of, what is core? Everyone defines core as, your abs and your whole middle section of core, but your core is your whole body. That's what I would say. It's not just that, because just to strengthen your abs or to get strong in your core with planking, how does that help your lower back? How does it help the pain go away? Let's just say if your hips elevated, it's not going to change the structure of your body. So when I talk core, it's the entire insides of your body, not just that middle section, if you will. But again, as we're aging women, we are very concerned with the defined core in the stomach region area, because that's where we gain a lot of our premenopausal, menopausal weight. And
Hmm.
then that's the concern, or the target, if you will. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think I would ask, what is core? What is the core? And how do we fix that back pain? And is the core going to do it? So I'm going to leave you with that question.
That's a great question to ask. And so when we look at symmetry, what is there something that you can say that has changed, shifted, something that you notice of how it's helped you? Because I know you're doing your exercises, right?
Oh my goodness. I don't know, Heather, if you know my story. I have a story that goes way back.
Would love to hear it.
Yeah, I was a ballerina my entire life. I started at age 3, and my living, breathing, everything I did was dancing. I wanted to be a professional ballerina. And about age 12, back in the day, they tested kids at school for scoliosis, right? They don't do it anymore, depending
I
on,
remember.
yeah, state you're living in. So I would take a lot of trips down to the Bay Area from where I live here in San Francisco for summer workshop tryouts for dancing for the summer, for all the major workshops that you do if you want to be in that career. Age 12, I could not ride in a car for more than 40 minutes without being in severe back pain. So, you do the push up on the seat, trying to elongate your spine to get out of pain. And what I was sent to was every sports medicine doctor on the planet. I was sent to physical therapy for years, and they all wanted to strengthen my core. They all wanted to put me on an exercise ball and do all kinds of exercises, which I did and didn't do. A lot of people do have a hard time with some, not everybody, with physical therapy exercises. But I
Mhm.
always wanted to know why. Why strengthening my core? How was that going to straighten my spine? Because I had a pretty big curve in my spine. So I spent my entire, all the way till age 40, in back pain. And when you get into pain like that and you don't have answers, you just think you're going to live with it. And you find a way to get by day to get through the pain, and still always looking for answers. Again, my parents sent me to more and more doctors. And can you tell me why her spine is curved? And I always wanted to know.
Mhm.
Found Symmetry at age 40. At that point, I'd been through an entire sales career. I was a massage therapist, and I don't know how I did it every day. I did 4 to 5 massages a day, and I would do everything I could just to make it through the day because my back hurts. So I found Symmetry, and that's another long story, but found Symmetry at age 40, started going through the program, not really understanding what it was doing quite yet, because I was very skeptical, as you should be with most programs out there, until they can give you answers. But I had answers. I had numbers and metrics with Symmetry. I had measurements to tell me where I was and why my spine was curved, because my hip was so incredibly elevated. So my spine had to go somewhere. It's like I had to keep my eyes
Mhm.
level for the writing reflex, right, to process your environment. So I started going through Symmetry, going through my first routine. My second routine was I could call it my aha moment, where I'm cracking and popping and going, well, how is this possible? My hip is now down, my back doesn't hurt, and I'm starting to understand why, because I was staying in alignment from doing the work. And I had another moment with routine number 6, after being measured now for the 6th time. We took a trip down to LA to certify practitioners, which, Heather, I know that, speaking of Symmetry, this was when we all drove to Southern California for 3 weekends and got certified, and that was the only option. There wasn't online courses. Drove down there, and I gasped about 6 hours in, and I scared the heck out of the people in the car. And they said, well, what's wrong? And I said, I just drove for 6 hours and I have no pain in my back. And that was my
Wow.
moment of that I had suffered my whole life, of realizing what Symmetry can do. And I didn't have any back pain, and I haven't since. And it's been almost 10 years. I do my routines every day. I have probably 65 plus routines in my app. And it's life changing. It's my way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's what I can do every day based on my measurements to fix myself and then have it for life. So that's the condensed version of my story, but it's changed my life on in so many ways beyond that. So I don't know if you knew that story, Heather.
I I didn't. I mean, honestly, that's like just jaw dropping.
Yeah,
It's
it's
and
game changing.
it's a definite game changer. I mean, how do you go back from that?
You don't. And I have to say, massage, chiropractic, acupuncture, all the things we do out there, they're all great and they're wonderful and they're hands-on. But what are you going to do to go home and hold the treatment that you just did or you just had by laying on a table? And again, being a retired massage therapist, it's wonderful. But go home and do something in the right order to hold it, to hold
Yeah,
the treatment. And then we should all work and collaborate as a team. Everyone needs to work together and stick together. Us women we have to stick together.
I agree. I think too that not enough practitioners know about symmetry yet. So I know you guys are doing a great job in
Yeah.
your marketing and getting the word out, and it's testimonials, really.
Yes.
Like your testimonial of how it changed your life, that's humongous. It speaks volumes. And so I think that it's just needing, at least where I live. I know where you are, you're getting a lot of traction of people coming in. Where I live, not so much yet, but we're going to get there. We're going to get the word out of
Yes.
let's work together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Team
Um,
effort here.
totally team effort. I think that for me, the game changer is I too feel great in my body. Doing my exercises, I feel grounded when I end the day doing them. I feel like I'm putting a good closure on the day. I push hard
Yes. Yes.
in a lot of aspects of my life. And I feel like at the end of the day, to get off screens, to have some quiet time to do my exercises. And when we say exercises, for those of you who are not, experienced in symmetry yet, I'm not talking about push-ups. I'm not talking about squats. I'm talking about more of
Isometric stretch, sequence stretching.
there you go. There you go.
Yes. Yes.
Something that just feels good. And it can start your day that way. It can be a nice lunch break and it can also end your day. Can you overdo symmetry, Liam?
Never.
Yeah.
Never, never, never. It's at your disposal. You can do it 3 times a day. You can do it whenever you want to. And Heather, and the rest of the world will know very soon. When you finish your routine, you can breathe better. You feel better in a way that you almost can't describe because it's just keeping you an extension and opening everything up. And because you're measuring and sequencing, that's the way. It's still hard to describe sometimes. You just feel so much better in such a
Yeah,
different way than just going to the gym, and that's important, but getting yourself and keeping yourself in proper alignment is huge with how we live our
absolutely.
lives. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to share about it?
Oh my gosh, check it out. Go to Heather's site. What is your website, Heather?
My name, Heather Yancey Fitness. We will be continuing to spread the word. I have one last question for you, Leanne. And if you're
Yes.
not familiar with the show, this might be a surprise to you, but what makes you feel like a badass with your symmetry?
What makes me feel like a badass? That I have the power to change myself every day, as many times a day as I want to, but at least twice a day, to correct myself and have the power to feel amazing after finishing my sequence symmetry routines. That makes me feel like a badass.
Right on, right on. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Yes.
I am gonna put some links to where
Perfect.
people can get information for symmetry from you guys, and I'm gonna put some links for some of the equipment, like the Nada chair. But
Great.
they also might need to, get some blocks, get some
Great.
straps. Take a look. Thank you so much for your time. I'm really excited about where this is going, where you guys have been, and what you're doing for the world. So thanks for your time, Leanne.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for being you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.